Welcome to this demonstration of Double-Take availability for Linux, full server protection and restoration. Now I've already installed Double-Take on our source server. I'm going to run the dt setup command in order to configure the full server protection. I'll choose setup tasks and then choose configure file system or block device replication and choose option 4 for full server replication. Again, choose option 1 to add full server protection. I'm prompted if I'd like to create the replication set at this time. I'll just say yes for now. And then I'm prompted to provide credentials for a user that is a member of the DT admins group. I need to reboot the Linux server in order to enable full server protection. After I have rebooted the server, I can configure the protection from a Windows admin server. Using the Double-Take replication console on any Windows workstation or server, I can see my two Linux boxes. One is CentOS 1, that's the server I'm going to protect, and one is CentOS 2, which is going to be essentially my backup repository server. Use the connection wizard, choose my source server, which is CentOS 1, and my target, which is CentOS 2, and then asked to choose whether I wish to do just protect data or the full system. I'm going to protect the full system, and the replication set that's already been created for me when I use the DT setup, and just click next. Choose a location to store the image. I'm just going to choose the root folder in this case, and Double-Take will actually create a subfolder for me. When I'm happy, I could choose advanced options or just choose finish to start the protection. So Double-Take is going to create a connection between the source server and the target server for the replication set that contains the entire server image. The mirror is going to take quite a period of time because we are replicating everything from the source server to the folder on the target server. The mirror has been in progress for quite a while. We're actually up to 81% at the moment. Just going to bring into view the Linux servers, the source server, CentOS 1, and also the target server. You can see on the target server we have a folder called server image. Inside that folder I can see all the data from my source server. If I go into the data folder in the replica on the target server and also the data folder on the source server, the server we're protecting, and I'll just quickly create a new folder, and you can see immediately the folder has been created on the target server. Essentially it's been backed up immediately. If I rename the folder, it's renamed immediately on the repository server, and if I create a new just to create an empty file at the moment, and that file appears immediately on the repository server. So essentially the files are being backed up in near to real time. Okay, the mirror has now nearly completed. It's at 99%. As soon as the mirror becomes idle, we are protected. There you can see the mirror status has changed to idle. The server is now protected. We could recover this server now. Just bring into view my source server, the server I'm protecting. Just make a quick change. I'm just going to change the desktop background so that when we recover the server we should see that the desktop background's been recovered as part of the system state. I'll just use our company logo for the wallpaper, and then I'm going to use the virtual machine management tools to abruptly stop this Linux server. So it's essentially being powered off at the mains. We can see that the Linux server has been turned off, and we can now attempt to do a recovery. In order to complete the recovery, I have installed a new CentOS LInux Server, and you can see the wallpaper is just a plain sheet. I need to reboot that Linux server. I need to install Double-Take on it first and reboot it in single user mode. So I'm just using the menu to boot into single user mode. Single user mode will prevent any unnecessary applications or services starting when the Linux server starts up. Once in single user mode, I need to start the networking services. So I'll just use the command that will start the networking service. I also need to start the Double-Take service and the SSHD service. The necessary services can be started from a script or from the command line. And once the services are running, we're able to start the restoration task from the Double-Take replication console. To begin the restoration task, we're going to use the restoration wizard from the replication console. Choose the target server, which was CentOS 2. Choose the original source server, which was CentOS 1, and the replication set, which was server image. Choose the data that we wish to recover. Essentially, we want to recover everything. Choose a server we want to restore the data to. So I've deployed a server called Recovery, and that is the server that's running in single instance mode. We are prompted about a reminder to boot into single instance mode. Finally, we choose where we want to restore to. We're going to restore to the root of the disk. We deselect the option to continually replicate, because this is simply just a restoration process, and hit next and finish, and Double-Take will start to create the connection from the repository server, the original target server, to the new replacement for the original source server. We then need to wait for the restoration to complete. On completion, Double-Take will actually disconnect the connection. Okay, the restoration has been completed, but before we reboot, we do need to fix the Linux bootloader from the grub menu. It's a little bit fiddly, just a few commands. You need to identify which disk you actually boot from, and then use the grub setup option to repair the boot. Now that the recovery is complete, and grub bootloader has been repaired, we can restart the recovery server. This time we'll boot into multi-user mode, and we'll allow, in this case, CentOS to boot normally. During the boot up process, it will start any services and applications that were installed on the original source server, CentOS 1. I'm going to log in as an administrator. And as you can see, we have the wallpaper as configured. Any applications that had been installed on the original server will also be in place and installed and running on this recovered server. Please visit us at www.bcap.com.au.